Ladies and gentlemen, this is a bombshell. It's a hammer blow. Europe is divided. Hungary rejects the euro. Here is a member country of the European Union that has just taken this step back, that has just outright rejected the common currency used throughout the European Union. Yes, the hero, Viktor Orban's Hungary, is flatly rejecting the euro. As you know, Hungary is an extremely dissident country within the European Union and within NATO. Some even describe Viktor Orban as an infiltrator or a Russian spy within the Western sphere. So much so that these decisions really resemble those made by countries of the global south. Because every time there is a project to finance or arm Ukraine by the European Union, it is Hungary that vetoes it. As soon as Hungary uses its veto, that's it. The funding is blocked. Because of this, they've tried several ways to send it to eternal rest, but it's impossible. They've never managed to do it. So here is one of the worst decisions they have just made. The Western world is surprised, and many are wondering whether, like Viktor Orban, other European states will follow the same path. And the problem is, it's not just about leaving the euro or rejecting the euro. It's not about that. But this already shows the blatant division within the European Union. Can we even continue to call this institution, this organization, a union? Because internally, the disunity that exists is obvious, even if it goes unspoken. And this is happening at a time when the decadent West is fighting to maintain its currency as the currency for all international transactions. You know very well that when you travel around the world, if you don't have dollars, you need to have euros. And the dollar and the euro are used everywhere in the world. But it is against this that the yuan and other currencies are rising up, especially the currency that the BRICS are going to implement. And while other currencies are trying to surpass the European currency, Western currencies, that's when other countries are pulling out of Western currencies. It's becoming very, very complicated. And the reason put forward by Viktor Orban is the very reason that's shaking everything up, that's turning everything upside down. Paris, Brussels, everyone is confused. So ladies and gentlemen, in this geopolitical conference, this is the current event we are going to discuss. But before we continue, please share the conference as much as possible in all your groups, give it lots of likes, and don't forget to click the subscribe button. Subscribe if this is your first time coming across my video conferences. There you go, subscribing allows you to never miss our updates. So let's get started. According to official information, Hungary will not adopt the euro. Hungary is therefore rejecting the euro. Viktor Orban is defying Brussels. This is a breakaway stance. Hungary is choosing its economic independence. You see, even within the European Union, some countries are making choices to have their economic independence. And when we compare this to many African countries that up to now refuse to move towards their own economic independence, it's really sad. It's sad. They, on the other hand, impose currencies on us here. It's true, there are difficulties in leaving the CFA franc. It's not easy. But at least for the states that have the will to leave the CFA, we can understand. There are even others among the African states who don't even think about it, who don't even dream of leaving the CFA franc. Yet for them in their own countries, it's a common currency. That is to say, while states are making progress, we've seen the AES wanting to establish its own single currency. While other nations are trying to come together to create single currencies that will be usable throughout their shared territory, at the same time, Europe is disintegrating, falling apart. There is a total explosion. Unity, that's over. The common currency that exists, some are leaving that common currency. I'm telling you, this is the decline of the West. Many Africans can't understand. This is Africa's karma striking decadent Western countries, striking Europe. Let's go deeper. Viktor Orban and his Hungary have taken a very clear stance. And this very clear stance is the refusal to join the single currency. The official statement was made by Viktor Orban, the Hungarian Prime Minister. He confirmed that Hungary will not adopt the euro because he believes this choice will preserve the country's financial sovereignty. So in the name of Hungary's financial sovereignty, they will not adopt the euro. They prefer to use their own national currency. Yes. And what are we, the other African countries, doing? What about us, the other African countries? What are we doing? While European countries are leaving their common currency to say, yes, we want to have our monetary independence, our economic independence. Meanwhile, we are still pleading with the BCO to keep this colonial currency. Yes, that needs to change. At some point, the leaders really need to find the courage to muster up their courage, create our own currency and accept consequences. That's what the Republic of Guinea did. When they left, under their own pressure, we created our own currency. We created our own currency, no matter the consequences. We suffered the consequences, but after that we lived. Today we live. The country is developing little by little, thanks to this currency already. Even if there are public policies that are poorly put together, which is why the country isn't moving forward. That's actually one of the reasons why we ran for the presidential election, to come and change things. But at the start of all this, you have to say that things are still going okay. The country needs to turn a blind eye. Look at Hungary, which turns a blind eye to the forint, to prioritize its own currency. And the reason he says that Viktor Orban denounces a European Union threatened with disintegration. For him, the European Union is threatened with disintegration. The European Union is disintegrating, meaning people are leaving and more will leave. So he says he doesn't want to join further through a common currency. That's it. And so, because the European Union is disintegrating, he doesn't want to be associated with that. If he associates his country with that, the currency will fall, and his country will fall too. So he says that from now on, national priority comes first. Budapest will keep the Hungarian forint. I think that's the name of their currency, the Hungarian forint. Budapest will hold on to that, will maintain it as a symbol of independence and internal stability, despite pressure from Brussels. So there is pressure on Budapest. But they say they will keep their local currency. And keeping this local currency represents a symbol of independence and internal stability. So this is happening in a climate of crisis of confidence within the European Union, because the European Union is facing disunity. There's inflation, there are energy divergences, there are migration rifts, and there's the rise of sovereigntists. One of these is sovereigntism itself. Yes, the rise of sovereigntism. So many are moving towards sovereigntism. And this whole idea of union, they want to start abandoning it. Hungary denounces the centralization of economic decisions. There are many grievances that Hungary holds against the European Union. And so, ladies and gentlemen, here is one of the international news stories. I will be back with you shortly by the grace of the Almighty with more news updates. Of course, this was the voice of your humble servant, the Samurai.